Hiya, welcome to Simple Happy Zen. I'm Vera, and this afternoon I will give you 5 fantastic benefits of living mindfully. Great to have you here. Let's begin. Mindfulness to me is about living deeply in the here and now and really experiencing life with all its ups and downs. And I know it's definitely a practice, and I'm not 100% mindful all the time. I'm not some Zen master or anything like that. But I do know that it makes me feel good to try and live mindfully every day and to practice it. And I'll probably always continue to practice it. Now there are many benefits of living mindfully, but let me just give you my top 5 that I've experienced so far, starting with number 1. As human beings, we spend so much time in our heads, worrying about the future or reliving something that happened in the past. And mindfulness is a really great tool to start breaking that habit piece by piece. Because when you think about it, the past and the future don't really exist. The past only exists in our memories, and the future still has to come. And whatever things we experienced in the past, we can't change them, just as we cannot control what happens to us in the future, which means the only real time to live is now. And mindfulness really allows us to practice living in that now our entire lives. And because we're not worried about things unconsciously being in our minds, we can really experience life and all its wonderful things that much stronger. Like a few weeks ago, the autumn had already started, but we were having a really nice, warm, sunny day. We went hiking in the forest and had a cup of coffee near a lake, which is where I made this video of the scenery. And just being there with the beautiful view, the sun on my skin, the really nice coffee and the company of my family, it was just such a great moment. And I remember feeling happy and connected to nature and to the people around me. It was just really great. And I'm not saying that you cannot enjoy these things when you're not being mindful, of course, but it really does help to be present in the moment. When we practice being mindful, we also practice being aware of our own thoughts, emotions, and feelings. And instead of being unconsciously swept away by them, we try to look at them as an observer. And one of my favorite meditation teachers explains it like this. Our thoughts and emotions are like a river. We cannot stop the water forcefully from flowing, but when we enter the river, we get swept away. So we practice sitting beside the river, just watching it. And when we practice that, we notice that eventually these thoughts and emotions have a less strong hold of us, and we become more calm, aware, and at peace. Or look at it like this. Our thoughts and emotions are like this strong hurricane, always blowing fiercely. But instead of letting ourselves be swept away by the strong winds, we try to sit in the middle, in the eye of the storm, where all is calm and still. And without judging it or fighting it or trying to change anything, we just sit there looking at all the things blowing around us, observing them. So I try to be aware of my own strong feelings and emotions, just noticing them, observing them, and letting them be. And after a while, I noticed that they kind of start to lose their hold on me a little bit. So I keep on practicing. How many times do you see 2 people talking and you notice that they just might as well have been talking to a wall? And that's because they're not actually listening to each other, they're just waiting for their own turn to speak. I always find it kind of funny when I see this happen, when I'm somewhere having a cup of tea, for example. And to me, this is another one of the many benefits of mindfulness, because it can really change our conversations with people and strengthen our relationships. When we're with another person, we are also often stuck inside our own heads, thinking about our own things, worrying about what the other person might think of us, or thinking about stroking our own ego by topping their story with a better one of our own. But when we're totally present in the moment, so not stuck inside our own minds, we can really listen to what the other person is saying and be open to their needs. And that can really lead to some great conversations, where we can really help the other person and be there for them. So whenever I'm with someone, I try to always be mindful and present and really pay attention to what the other person is saying. When we try to be present in the now, we start to realize that there is no real need for us to hold grievances about our past or worry about our future. Not all problems, of course, but many of our problems today we create ourselves in our minds. And of all our worries about what may happen, probably 90% will never actually happen. So by focusing on the now, we worry less and we feel calm and content. Because right now, everything is well and we have everything we need. And we don't need something external to make us happy because we already feel good in the now. And even if we are suffering a bit right now, when we practice mindfulness, we kind of learn how to deal with that better too. Not running away from it, but observing it and knowing that ultimately everything is impermanent. This one perhaps is my favorite because it's just so important to take care of yourself. And I know it's a cliche, but it's true. You cannot take good care of anyone else if you're not taking care of yourself. For me, this is always a tough lesson because I tend to cross my own boundaries if something needs to be done. Which is, I think, a part of the reason why I eventually got a burnout. And as most people do, I tend to think first about what needs doing and then maybe think later about if I have it in me to do it or if I will cross my own boundaries. By practicing mindfulness, we become more aware of our own strengths, but also our boundaries, and we begin to respect them more. And we learn that we don't always need to join the fast pace of our society. We can go our own way and do our own thing. And that's just so valuable, if you ask me. These were my top 5 fantastic benefits of practicing mindfulness. I'm curious if you recognize any of these, or if you have some thoughts of your own, let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you down there. Don't forget to shoot this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you feel like it. I hope I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.